Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build, quietly, painfully, and repeatedly, until it becomes part of who you are. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. But the Stoics understood something far deeper. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline is a decision. Every morning you are faced with a choice. You can stay comfortable, follow your impulses, and remain stuck where you are. Or you can rise, take control of your mind, and do what must be done, regardless of how you feel. This is the foundation of Stoicism. Ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus didn't rely on bursts of energy or inspiration. They trained their minds to act with purpose, even when it was difficult. And that is what made them powerful. In this video, you'll learn how to build a kind of discipline that doesn't break under pressure, doesn't disappear when things get hard, and doesn't depend on your mood. A discipline that becomes your identity. 1. Accept that discipline is painful. Most people fail at discipline because they try to avoid discomfort. They want success without struggle, growth without sacrifice, and results without effort. But discipline begins the moment you accept that pain is part of the process. The Stoics believe that discomfort is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. When you wake up early and your body resists, that resistance is the training ground. When you feel like quitting but continue anyway, that is where discipline is built. Epictetus taught that we must learn to distinguish between what is in our control and what is not. Your feelings are not always in your control, but your actions are. You may feel lazy, tired, or unmotivated, but you still have the power to act. Discipline grows every time you choose action over comfort. It grows when you do the hard thing, not because you want to, but because you know it's necessary. Over time, this repeated choice rewires your mind. What once felt painful becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes routine. 2. Control your morning, control your life. Your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start your day in chaos, distraction, and laziness, the rest of your day will follow the same pattern. But if you begin with control, focus, and intention, you create momentum that carries you forward. The Stoics placed great importance on how you begin your day. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning that he would face challenges, difficult people, and unexpected problems. This wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. A disciplined morning doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with simple actions: waking up on time, avoiding your phone, and focusing your mind. Even something as small as making your bed or sitting in silence for a few minutes builds control. When you win your morning, you prove to yourself that you are in charge. And that confidence carries into everything else you do. Discipline is not built in grand gestures, it is built in small, consistent actions repeated every single day. 3. Remove your excuses. Excuses are the enemy of discipline. They are the stories you tell yourself to justify inaction. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel ready. These thoughts feel real, but they are nothing more than mental barriers. The Stoics believed in radical responsibility. No matter what happens, you take ownership of your actions. Seneca emphasized that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most excuses exist only in your mind. When you remove excuses, you remove the option to fail. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You act, immediately and decisively. This doesn't mean life won't be difficult. It means you stop using difficulty as a reason to quit. Discipline is built when action becomes non-negotiable. When you decide that no matter how you feel, you will do what needs to be done. 4. Build systems, not reliance on motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes, often disappearing when you need it most. If you rely on motivation, your discipline will always be inconsistent. The Stoics focused on structure and routine. They understood that consistency beats intensity. Instead of waiting to feel inspired, they created systems that made action automatic. A system is simple. It's a set time to wake up. A scheduled workout. A dedicated hour for focused work. These routines remove the need to decide what to do, they make the decision for you. When your actions become part of a system, discipline becomes easier. You don't have to think. You don't have to debate. You simply follow the plan. Over time, these systems shape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries to be disciplined. You become someone who is disciplined. 5. Master your thoughts before they control you. Your mind is the first battlefield of discipline. Before you skip a task, delay your work, or give in to comfort, it starts with a thought. A small voice suggests, "You can do it later," or "It's not that important." Left unchecked, these thoughts become habits, and those habits shape your life. The Stoics understood that you don't control what thoughts appear, but you control whether you accept them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This is not just philosophy, it is a practical rule for discipline. When a negative or a lazy thought appears, challenge it immediately. Replace, "I don't feel like it," with, "I do what must be done." This shift may seem small, but it changes your behavior over time. Discipline is not about eliminating resistance, it's about refusing to obey it. The more you practice this, the stronger your mental control becomes. Eventually, your default response is action, not hesitation. And that is when discipline stops being a struggle and becomes your nature. 6. Do the hard thing first. One of the simplest ways to build discipline is to stop delaying what you know is difficult. Most people structure their day around comfort. They do easy tasks first and postpone the challenging ones, hoping they'll feel more ready later. But later rarely comes. The Stoics believed in facing challenges directly. Avoidance weakens you, while confrontation strengthens you. Every time you delay a difficult task, you reinforce the habit of escape. But when you attack it immediately, you build confidence and control. Start your day with the hardest task, the one you're most likely to avoid. It might be deep work, exercise, or a difficult conversation. By completing it early, you remove the mental weight it carries. This approach does more than increase productivity. It transforms your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who doesn't run from discomfort. Someone who faces it head on. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. And what once felt impossible becomes routine. This is how discipline compounds. 7. Detach from results, focus on action. One of the biggest reasons people lose discipline is because they focus too much on results. They want immediate progress, instant rewards, and quick success. When those results don't come fast enough, they lose motivation and quit. Stoicism teaches the opposite approach. Focus on what you can control, your actions, and detach from what you cannot control, outcomes. Epictetus made this principle clear: some things are up to us, and some are not. When you shift your focus to action, discipline becomes easier. You're no longer discouraged by slow progress because your goal is not immediate success, it is consistent effort. You measure your success by whether you showed up, not by the outcome. This mindset removes emotional volatility. You stop riding the highs of success and the lows of failure. Instead, you remain steady, focused, and committed. Discipline that depends on results is fragile. Discipline rooted in action is unbreakable. 8. Limit distractions like a Stoic. Discipline cannot exist in a life full of distractions. Every notification, every unnecessary scroll, and every moment of mindless consumption weakens your ability to focus. The modern world is designed to steal your attention. But the Stoics lived with intentional focus. They value clarity, simplicity, and control over their environment. To build discipline, you must reduce what pulls you away from your goals. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set boundaries for social media. Create a workspace where focus is the default, not the exception. This is not about extreme restriction, it's about intentional living. When distractions are reduced, discipline becomes easier because there are fewer temptations to resist. Every moment you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your mind. And over time, focus becomes your natural state. 9. Train yourself to act without feeling ready. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most common traps. People believe they need confidence, clarity, or the right mood before they act. But discipline is built by acting despite uncertainty. The Stoics believe that action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't think your way into discipline, you act your way into it. Start before you feel prepared. Begin the task even if you're unsure. Take the first step even if it feels uncomfortable. Once you start, momentum takes over. This principle is powerful because it removes hesitation. You stop overthinking and start doing. And with each action, your confidence grows. Over time, you realize that readiness is not a prerequisite, it is a result of action. And that realization changes everything. 10. Build discipline through consistency, not perfection. Many people fail because they aim for perfection. They create unrealistic plans, push themselves too hard, and burn out quickly. When they miss a day or make a mistake, they feel like they've failed completely. The Stoics understood that progress is not perfect. It is gradual, messy, and continuous. Seneca emphasized the importance of steady improvement over time. Consistency is what builds discipline. Showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, matters more than occasional bursts of effort. Missing one day doesn't destroy your progress, but quitting does. Focus on being consistent, not perfect. Do what you can, with what you have, every single day. Over time, these small actions compound into massive results. Discipline is not built in a single moment. It is built over thousands of small decisions. 11. Embrace discomfort daily. If you want unbreakable discipline, you must make discomfort a daily habit. Not extreme suffering, but small, intentional challenges that push you beyond your comfort zone. Take cold showers. Wake up earlier. Exercise when you don't feel like it. These actions train your mind to accept discomfort as normal. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort to prepare for life's challenges. By choosing difficulty, they became stronger, more resilient, and less dependent on comfort. When you regularly expose yourself to discomfort, fear loses its power. You become more adaptable, more confident, and more disciplined. Discipline grows where comfort ends. 12. Create a strong identity. At the core of lasting discipline is identity. If you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, your actions will reflect that belief. But if you see yourself as disciplined, your behavior begins to align with that identity. The Stoics believed in shaping character through action. Every choice you make reinforces who you are. When you act with discipline, you prove to yourself that you are disciplined. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," say, "I am disciplined." Then act accordingly. This shift changes everything. Discipline is no longer something you force, it becomes something you are. Discipline that never fails is not built overnight. It is built through daily effort, intentional choices, and a commitment to growth. It is built when you act despite resistance, when you choose discomfort over ease, and when you stay consistent no matter what. The Stoics didn't wait for the perfect moment. They created it through action. And you can do the same. If you apply these principles, your life will change. Not instantly, but inevitably. Because discipline, once built, becomes unstoppable. If you found this valuable, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom that will sharpen your mind, strengthen your discipline, and transform your life.